use it every single day. It has answered billions of your questions. It has shaped how you think, how you work, how you see the world. And yet, you probably can't picture his face right now. You probably don't know where he is. His name is Sergey Brin. He co-founded one of the most powerful companies in human history. And then quietly, he vanished. The story starts from Moscow, 1973. Sergey Mikhailovich Brin is born into a Jewish family. His father is a gifted mathematician. Is shut out of academic opportunities because of his faith. His family lives in a cramped three-room apartment. And in 1979, when Sergey is just 6 years old, his father makes a decision. The Brins arrive in the United States with little more than ambition and a belief that things could be different. His father ends up becoming a mathematics professor at the University of Maryland, and his mother becomes a researcher at NASA. Sergey ends up inheriting all of it. He inherits the curiosity and the hunger to understand how things work. By his early 20s, he is a graduate student at Stanford, one of the most elite universities in the world. And that's where he meets a fellow PhD student named Larry Page. They reportedly did not get along at first. Two brilliant, opinionated minds clashing in seminar rooms and research halls, but they shared one obsession. The internet was exploding with information, and nobody had figured out how to make sense of it. What started as a research project became something no one had seen before. They built a search engine that didn't just look for keywords. It ranked pages by how many other pages linked to them. The more links equals the more trusted the source. They called it Backrub at first. Then they renamed it to Google. A play on Google. I think that's how it sounds. Google is a mathematical term for the number 1 followed by 100 zeros. An audacious name for an audacious idea. They launched out of a garage in Menlo Park in 1998. By 1999, Google was processing 500,000 searches a day, and by 2004, it reached 200 million a day. Just from that, the IPO made them both successful overnight. And Sergey Brin was, by any measure, one of the most influential people in Silicon Valley and on the planet. But then quietly, he started stepping back. Sergey Brin, along with Larry Page, steps down from Alphabet, the parent company of Google. No grand farewell, no press tour, no emotional speech to shareholders. He just left. And the world barely noticed. While every other tech billionaire was chasing headlines, buying social media platforms, testifying before Congress, and launching rockets, Sergey Brin disappeared into a life the world knew nothing about. No press, no hot takes, and no presence. For a man who helped build the infrastructure of the modern internet, he had become invincible on it. He had imagined retirement a certain way. Long days sitting in quiet cafes and studying physics. But then COVID-19 arrived, and the cafes closed, and the silence became something else and dad. He later told his students at Stanford that without the structure of work, he felt himself drifting. He described feeling like he was spiraling, not being sharp, just steering. Think about what that means for a moment. A man who could go anywhere, do anything, and buy anything, ended up being lost. He called retiring the worst decision he'd ever made. But while Sergey Brin was sitting in that silence, something was happening in the world of technology, something that was about to pull him back. A company called OpenAI released ChatGPT. Within 5 days, it had 1 million users, and within 2 months, it reached 100 million. It was the fastest growing consumer application in history, and it blindsided Google. But here's the irony that history will not let go of. Google had helped invent the foundational technology behind modern AI. The transformer model came from a paper published by Google researchers in 2017. That means the transformer model, which basically is the architecture that powers ChatGPT and every major AI system today, came from their research in 2017. So Google had the research, it had the infrastructure, and it also had the talent. Yet, while the world wasn't watching, OpenAI took that technology and ran with it. The company that had organized the world's information for nearly 25 years was suddenly in an existential fight for its relevance. And so Sergey Brin came back, not with a press release, not with an announcement. He just started showing up. At first, occasionally, then more and more. He started by walking into the Mountain View offices, sitting alongside the engineers, and diving deep in what would become Gemini. At the moment, Sergey Brin is in the Google offices nearly every day. And he told one of his Stanford audiences that if you happen to skip the news in AI for 1 month, you're way behind. So as you can see, this is not the energy of a man enjoying a quiet retirement. This is someone who realized that the race had started without him and refused to let it finish that way. By 2025, Google's Gemini was drawing praise from analysis. The company was rising in the AI race. The man who had disappeared was quietly helping to shape the future again. Sergey Brin never wanted to be famous. He never chased the spotlight. He never built a brand around himself. While others in Silicon Valley became celebrities, he stayed focused. Maybe that's exactly why he's still relevant, because the people who perform eventually run out of an audience. But the people who build, they leave something behind that outlasts the noise. Google processes more than 8.5 billion searches every single day. Every one of them passes through the infrastructure that Sergey Brin helped imagine from a dorm room at Stanford. The man who disappeared isn't gone. He's just working.